So they took the case. The Supreme Court just stepped into a battlefield they haven't touched in over a decade. The man at the center of it, President Trump, a presidential order, a constitutional clause older than every living American. 5 words that are going to interpret America's future. And a question so explosive that every network spent a day pretending they were panicking. This isn't some procedural dispute or technical footnote. This is a direct collision between presidential authority and limits of what the Constitution actually allows. If the court rules one way, an entire part of American identity shifts overnight. If it rules the other way, executive power gets, put in a cage. The entire presidency gets put to the sideline. And the best part? Nobody. Not the pundits, not the legal scholars, not even the politicians who claim they totally saw this coming, actually know how it ends. But the stakes? They're generational. So today we're going to strip away the noise, the headlines, as we always do. Get this to a very black and white, non-manufactured outrage, and get to the real question that the Supreme Court's about to answer. Who gets to define the meaning of the Constitution? The President or the Supreme Court? You would think that answer is easy, right? Because when this ruling drops, it won't just reshape policy. It reshapes the great republic of the United States of America. Over 5 words. And that's the story I'll bring you in just a few seconds. But first, there's so little to say on this. Gavin Newsom thought this was cool. Said no one ever. Of course, responding to the original picture that was out, people mocking the way that no man should be able to sit that way, so Gavin Newsom's reaction was more bizarre than the original picture. People, of course, stating now that his presidential aspirations even plummeted further, if that was even possible. So we'll digress from that. Admiral Rachel Levine, well, the White House has made a change. And a lot of people are unhappy. Trump administration insists on dead naming former transgender official on her portrait. Dead naming is a term used for renaming or moving back to the birth name of Rachel Levine. And of course, mainstream media goes crazy over it. HHS just updated Rachel Levine's official portrait to his real biological name, Richard. An HHS spokesperson said, "We remain committed to reversing harmful policies enacted by Levine and ensuring the biological reality guides our approach to public health." And of course, HuffPost and many other publications lost their ever-loving mind. I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. The White House just isn't stopping, are they? Gotta have a little fun before we get to a more serious topic. One that a lot of people, I met some people yesterday, some amazing folks. Younger gentleman, was blessed to meet him. Didn't get a chance to meet his girlfriend, but it's so wonderful when people actually come up and get to say hi, and met another young lady later in the day, and another individual who asked a little bit more about what was going on in the Supreme Court and what is happening on this birthright citizenship. So I'm going to give you a background today in my style of exactly what's about to happen. If they'll decide in his favor or if they won't. Of course, nobody knows the answer to that. It's the Supreme Court. It can go either way, right? But I'm going to tell you what the real impact of this is. I want you to hang on. First, I want to have a very special word from my sponsor, which is Noble Gold. Have you been to JustusKnightGold.com? Because as we wrap up 2025, one thing's clear. Uncertainty, it's not temporary. It's the world we live in now. Waiting for things to go back to normal isn't a plan. It's a gamble. It'd be like hoping the Biden administration ever put anything back to normal. That's why Noble Gold Investments helps Americans protect what they've built. with real gold and silver. You know, that holds its value when everything else feels uncertain. So this holiday season, remember, the best gift you can give your family isn't under the tree, it's peace of mind. I need you to go to justusknightgold.com and get your free wealth protection kit today. But there's something in addition to that by, again, going to justusknightgold.com. Because this holiday season, when you open a qualified account, you want to know what you get? Not one, not two, but how about 10 of this beautiful 1 ounce commemorative silver holiday coin. Each one of these beautifully designed with a jolly snowman, warm season's greeting engravings. Actually a really cool gift. Happy to have this in our possession because these limited edition silver coins make thoughtful gifts for friends, for family, or a unique addition to your own collection. A thoughtful way to celebrate the season, joyful way, have some fun, and give the gift, well, in this case, of silver. Now remember, there's always risk to investing, no guarantees, but if anyone can see you through it, it's Noble Gold Investments. I need you to go to justusknightgold.com. There's more information in the description box below. Get there now. And again, thank you, Noble Gold, for sponsoring this video. Also want to thank each and every one of you who subscribed yesterday. The channel exploded once again yesterday. The video took off, and that is because of each and every one of you. Thank you, those of you who visited Lisa's channel, subscribed. I'll put another link above. Love you to continue because there was a video I put over there yesterday. Because obviously, I don't take the weekends off. Not very often. Maybe if we go on vacation. Thank you all who went to restrictedrepublic.com yesterday and subscribed. Man, that platform exploded. My membership here, those of you who joined as a member, that took off. Thank you so very much. The super thanks, the comments, the shares, whatever your means, it's helping the algorithm know this news matters, and that is because of you. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're new here, welcome home because I'm about to show you exactly what I do. We'll give you an update here, all about the suspect who makes a stunning pro-Trump confession. Never saw that one coming, did we? I told you this story and one of the angles that would have been taken. Accused suspect told FBI he believes the 2020 election was stolen, sources say. During interviews with the FBI, the suspect told investigators that he believed the 2020 election was stolen, providing perhaps the first indication of a possible motive for the bombs placed near the DNC and RNC headquarters. People briefed on the matter told CNN. Jeanine Pirro, D.C. U.S. Attorney, said he was disappointed in various aspects of the election, but this guy was an equal opportunity bomber. He put a bomb outside the Republican National Committee and the Democratic National Committee. He was disappointed to a great deal in the system, on both sides of the system. However, conflicting story coming from his grandmother, as everything in this story has been conflicting. From the Daily Mail, the suspect is an autistic, recluse computer nerd, as we reported to you earlier. He is not a Trump supporter. Rather, he keeps to himself, living in his mother's basement with his, again, beloved pet Chihuahua. He's not politically affiliated with anything. He has no social media contacts. He's never online, going back and forth with politics or anything like that. He says he doesn't like either party. He's borderline autistic. He's slow. He may be 30 years old, but he's got the mind of a 16-year-old. That's why we're thinking, what the hell? What's going on here? And aren't many Americans asking that question? I've said from the beginning, something doesn't quite smell right on this one. We'll watch it, and I'll continue to bring you updates. But an update from the White House, why the Supreme Court may reject Trump's birthright citizenship order. Can Trump end birthright citizenship? Supreme Court says it will decide, and there's many questions surrounding this, right? Well, the Supreme Court is now prepared to decide. So let me walk you through this. As you know, I dig deep into these stories, not talking points, not sound bites, and I prepare, not just sitting here pontificating to you. So let's see if we can get through this. I look forward to your comments. Tell me how I did at the end. Because the Supreme Court of the United States, the big boys, just agreed to take on one of the most explosive constitutional questions in American history. Did President Trump actually have the authority to end automatic birthright citizenship through executive order. You heard that right. This is the biggest legal earthquake in generations, and it's now officially on the court's docket. The stakes? Only the definition of what it means to be an American citizen. No big deal. Totally casual. In no way, shape, or form. On day one of his second term, President Trump signed Executive Order 14160. It was called Protecting the Meaning and Value of American Citizenship. And its purpose was simple: to end automatic U.S. citizenship for babies born here to non-citizens, including undocumented immigrants and temporary visitors. Cue to lawsuits, the nationwide injunctions, the legal commentators screaming unconstitutional in every cable network that still exists. And now the Supreme Court says, we'll take it. Congratulations. We are heading back to the fundamental question. Does the 14th Amendment guarantee citizenship to every baby born here, or only to babies whose parents owe full jurisdiction and allegiance to the United States? Big question. A case that really hasn't been debated since 1898, when the court decided Wong Kim Ark, a case every law professor suddenly pretends they teach regularly. What that case meant, and now what this case means. This isn't just about immigration. This is about identity, about the Constitution itself, about whether a president, any president, can reinterpret a clause ratified 150 years ago. The Citizenship Clause says, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof, 5 words, are citizens. Simple. Until you get to the part in the middle, subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Trump's legal team says that phrase excludes people here illegally, on visas, or temporarily, meaning their babies are not automatically citizens. Opponents say, nice try. The 14th Amendment means everyone except children of diplomats and invading armies, period. So who's right? Well, this is where things get fun. Let's go point by point, because the Trump could win argument isn't fringe. It's rooted in history, originalism, and the court's current mood. The original meaning argument. The framers of the 14th Amendment weren't thinking about the global birth tourism or illegal border crossings. That wasn't their intent. They were dealing with freed slaves, not international visa categories. The phrase, subject to the jurisdiction, meant exclusive allegiance. Illegal entrants and tourists, they don't owe that allegiance. The court's conservative bloc loves original meaning analysis, and this case is tailor-made for it. Executive power over immigration. The president has wide authority over immigration enforcement. Trump's lawyers argued the order simply interprets who falls under U.S. jurisdiction, not rewrites the Constitution. If the court sees this as an interpretation issue rather than a constitutional rewrite, Trump gains the edge. The court may conclude the 14th Amendment wasn't designed for birth tourism, mass illegal entry, global migration incentives. This argument says Congress or the executive can modernize the interpretation to deal with modern realities. Some justices might bite on that. Before we go any further now, let me ask you directly. If birthright citizenship isn't clarified now, what happens when America becomes the world's maternity ward? Do you think someone should simply be able to put a toe over a U.S. border, have a baby, and that baby's a U.S. citizen, owing no allegiance to the United States of America? Yes or no? Simple question. This time I'm not asking for a friend, I'm asking for me. Curious as to what you say. So why Trump might lose? This is the other side. Wong Kim Ark. It's the Mount Everest of precedent. In 1898, the Supreme Court held that children born here from immigrant parents are citizens. has been cited for over a century. Overturning it, huge, massive, historic. I can't understate that. Most courts are allergic to overturning major constitutional precedent without overwhelming justification. Opponents will argue, you can't change the Constitution with a pen. If you want to end birthright citizenship, pass an amendment. The courts may fear opening the door to presidents unilaterally redefining constitutional rights. That's the slippery slope argument, and judges love slippery slopes. If the order takes effect, thousands of children could be born with no citizenship anywhere. Courts hate anything that creates statelessness, unequal rights for children, immediate humanitarian fallout. Some justices may say, look, subject to the jurisdiction thereof is broad, and the U.S. does have jurisdiction over anyone here illegally, meaning the amendment already covers those children. Trump's lawyers have to overcome that widely held interpretation. So what's really at stake? Just so you understood both sides of the argument, because a lot of people don't understand that side of the argument. They just want to push it away. You can't argue unless you understand both sides of the argument. Whether Trump wins or loses, this case will redefine some part of America. If Trump wins, birthright citizenship becomes conditional. A new class of U.S.-born non-citizens is created. Immigration incentives globally may shift overnight. Executive power is massively expanded. If Trump loses, Wong Kim Ark becomes more untouchable than ever. Birthright citizenship becomes locked in place for generations. Presidents may be limited from using executive actions to reinterpret constitutional clauses. Immigration policies pivot back to Congress. Either way, the Supreme Court is about to put its hands directly on the Constitution's live wiring. And nobody knows whose light will flicker first. So here we are, a nation asking the oldest question in the book: who gets to be an American? For 150 years, the answer has been anyone born here. Trump's executive order challenges that, not with a whisper, but with a cannon blast. The Supreme Court now has to decide to wade into that battlefield. Will they uphold centuries of precedent? A century, not centuries. Or declare the Constitution was never meant to guarantee citizenship to everyone born on our soil. But then you got to figure out what to do with those born on U.S. soil. We'll know in 2026. But one thing is certain. The ruling won't just shape the law. It will shape the country itself. And I'll be here, I promise you, breaking it down every step in the way, hopefully as black and white as I did for you today. And if I did a good job doing so, please put it in the comments below. Hopefully that is the most black and white definition of what is happening right now that anyone's given you. I look forward to seeing it again in the comments below. I love you all. Until next time, Godspeed and God bless. Justus Knight, signing out.